There have always been great matchups where fighters from different weight classes could face each other in a super fight, where it would be interesting to see who would come out on top. So here is 10 fantasy matchups in the UFC. Number 10. A matchup between retired light heavyweight Anthony Johnson and UFC heavyweight Mark Hunt would be a very interesting fight to see. Anthony Johnson was one of the most intimidating fighters to have ever competed in the UFC, who had just knocked fighters dead with his heavy hands. Mark Hunt, on the other hand, had made a name for himself with his walk-off knockouts and was crushing fighters with his crazy power. Both fighters possess fight-changing power and have the ability to flatten any fighter with a clean shot. If both fighters faced each other, it would be interesting to see which fighter would be able to deliver the knockout blow. Number 9. A matchup between former UFC light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier and top-ranked middleweight Yoel Romero would be an exciting fight to see. Daniel Cormier has dominated top names both in the heavyweight and light heavyweight divisions, where he eventually was able to capture UFC gold. Yoel Romero, on the other hand, has dominated nearly all of his opponents with his super athletic ability and his freakish knockout power. Both fighters are high-level wrestlers and are of similar age, where it will be interesting to see who will be able to use all of their tools to achieve the victory. Number 8. A matchup between current UFC Women's Featherweight Champion Cris Cyborg and the current UFC Bantamweight Champion Amanda Nunes would be a very interesting fight to see. Since 2015, Amanda Nunes has looked like a monster, where she has absolutely dominated all of her opponents, which led her to win the UFC Women's Bantamweight title. She last finished Ronda Rousey by TKO in the first round at UFC 207. Cris Cyborg, on the other hand, is known for a violent stand-up fighting style, where she goes out looking to destroy her opponent. With Cris Cyborg recently becoming the UFC Women's Featherweight Champion at UFC 214, I believe a super fight between both fighters would be an amazing contest to see, and hopefully we can see it happen soon. Number 7. A matchup between top-ranked lightweight Khabib Nurmagomedov and the former UFC welterweight champion Georges St-Pierre would be a very intriguing fight to see. Khabib Nurmagomedov has looked like a force of terror in the lightweight division, where he has just dismantled everyone he has faced so far, with his high-level sambo skills keeping his undefeated record intact. GSP, on the other hand, had faced all of the top contenders in the welterweight division whilst he was the champion, where he was able to defend his title 9 consecutive times. Both Khabib Nurmagomedov and Georges St-Pierre have great grappling skills and present a unique challenge. It will be interesting to see how both fighters deal with each other's fighting style and who is able to push hard for the victory. Number 6. A matchup between current UFC Bantamweight champion Cody Garbrandt and the former UFC Featherweight champion Jose Aldo would be an amazing contest to see. Jose Aldo was the long-reigning UFC Featherweight champion who had cleared out the division, defeating the best fighters in the world. Cody Garbrandt, on the other hand, is a violent knockout artist who has just looked unstoppable in the UFC, where he was quickly able to win UFC gold. With Jose Aldo defeating 2 of Cody Garbrandt's teammates in Uriah Faber and Chad Mendes twice, this would be a great opportunity for Cody Garbrandt to get one back for the team. As he has mentioned in the past, they would be interested in fighting Jose Aldo at 145 pounds. This fight would be a fast-paced war, and hopefully we can see it happen in the future. Number 5. A matchup between former UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo and top-ranked lightweight Edson Barboza would be an excellent fight to see. Both fighters' fighting styles are based on Muay Thai, and they both specialize in leg kicks. Jose Aldo's main weapon is his leg kicks, where he is able to slow his opponents down over the rounds. Edson Barboza, on the other hand, has had victories with his opponents unable to continue due to the damage caused by his vicious leg kicks. Both fighters have lethal leg kicks, where it would be interesting to see how both fighters would use the high-level Muay Thai to secure the victory. Number 4. A matchup between current UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson and the former UFC bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw would be a great test for both fighters. TJ Dillashaw offered to fight Demetrius Johnson at flyweight after his fight with Cody Garbrandt fell apart. He even started cutting down to the weight limit, but Demetrius Johnson wanted TJ to fight a top flyweight contender to make sure he could make the weight. After weeks of speculation, the fight never materialized. If this fight ever happened, it would be a fast-paced, exciting war where they could face each other either at bantamweight or at flyweight. Hopefully, we can see this fight happen soon. Number 3. A matchup between current UFC women's strawweight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk and top women's bantamweight contender Valentina Shevchenko would be an exciting fight to see. Both fighters have history with each other, as Valentina Shevchenko has 3 victories over Joanna Jędrzejczyk in Muay Thai. Joanna Jędrzejczyk offered to replace Amanda Nunes at UFC 213 to fight Valentina Shevchenko on short notice, but the bout never materialized. With the UFC introducing a women's flyweight division, I believe it would be perfect for both fighters to face off at flyweight, where it would be interesting to see which fighter has evolved the most. Number 2. A matchup between current UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones and the former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez would be a fascinating fight to see. Jon Jones has dominantly defeated Cain Velasquez's teammate Daniel Cormier and has expressed his desire to face Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez has a completely different fighting style to Daniel Cormier, as he mainly relies on his relentless pressure and is a cardio machine. If this super fight does happen in the future, it will be interesting to see how Jon Jones would deal with Cain Velasquez's aggressive fighting style and how Cain Velasquez would deal with Jon Jones's reach and his ability to outwork his opponent. Before I reveal my number 1 fantasy matchup, here are some honorable mentions. The GOAT Artem Lobov versus the second GOAT CM Punk, and Demetrius Johnson versus Stefan Struve. Number 1. A matchup between current UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley and the current UFC lightweight champion Conor McGregor would be a very interesting fight to see. Tyron Woodley is an explosive welterweight fighter who has used his well-rounded game to gain victories over the top welterweights in the world. He has defended his title 3 consecutive times, where he has looked like a dominant force in the welterweight division. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, has quickly surged through the UFC rankings, where he was able to capture both the UFC featherweight and lightweight titles. Tyron Woodley is currently on the sidelines due to injury, whereas Conor McGregor is scheduled to face Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. A great comeback fight for both fighters would be to face each other in a super fight. I believe this fight would be huge, as both fighters were involved in numerous altercations leading up to UFC 205, where it gained massive amounts of attention. With both fighters willing to face each other, it will be interesting to see who comes out on top. So guys, what fantasy fight would you like to see in the UFC? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.